writing can be a lonely job. You might feel like it's just you and your keyboard, stranded in a creative desert. No help, no feedback. It's kind of solitary.
Being a good listener is such a part of being a good writer.
But animation is all about teamwork, and that's why I love it. If you write every script on your own, you might be holding yourself back. I've seen lots of new writers try to create their story all on their own. But is it really the best approach? Jason Tammemagi, a creative producer and writer at Cartoon Saloon with 25 years of experience in children's TV, will dive into why working with a team might just take your writing to the next level.
What are some tips you could give to somebody that could see and say, I would love to have a team, but for now it's me and my computer and the blank page?
That's a tough question because there is a team dynamic that is hard to replicate on your own. I think it's interesting as a writer, the difference between writing on your own compared with writing with someone else. One thing I found interesting early on in my career was that I wrote alone. That was my thing. I wrote alone. I did it myself. And I almost felt I had to in a way. Maybe it was confidence. It was that I felt like this was the thing I needed to do myself. Maybe I didn't feel comfortable enough with another person to write with them. And yet I saw some great writing teams and I always envied them. Having someone else to lean on must be great. But I wrote alone for most of my career. Don't really have any regrets of that. I kind of learned a lot having to do it myself in a way and having nobody else to lean on except good script editors. I would always advise people getting a script editor because a script editor can really help you as a writer.
A script editor is like a writer who helps you connect with your audience. They ask questions, take notes, and give you an outside perspective to shape your story. This unbiased view is great for spotting things that need fixing or aren't clear. That's the spirit of our Feedback Fridays at the WFA Animation Academy. We act as each other's script editors, making every story the best it can be. Got a script and need some objective help? Join our community of passionate storytellers. We'll learn together, write together, and support each other. Some of our members are already creating amazing projects together. Join us now at wfaanimation.com/academy. The link is down below, and I can't wait to see you in our next session. Now, let's go back to Jason.
The other thing I would say is show your work to people, ideally in the industry, people you trust, people you want an opinion from, because I think one of the huge things, and I got to admit this was tough for me to learn, is that you will be getting a lot of notes, you will be getting a lot of feedback. Learning how to take feedback is a skill in itself, and it's not an easy skill to build up. It involves a lot of skills. Firstly, it involves not getting too hurt if people give you some pretty terrible notes, but also then about what to take and what not to take, because sometimes taking on all the notes is not the right call. Sometimes there are notes that are trying to turn your story into the wrong thing. Even if you're a brand new writer, even if I'm not there yet, my scripts are terrible, start showing them to people, because in the act of showing and talking to people about them, firstly, you will learn about how to make your writing better, but you will also learn a huge amount about how you fit in a collaborative process. And I think that's really valuable. I think sharing your work and talking to other writers or other people in the industry is really valuable. Writing the Star Wars Vision short, I wrote with Will Collins. He's an incredible writer. That experience was fantastic for both of us because what it did was we both came to that short with different strengths. We were different types of writers. Will works a different way to me. And I think there's probably some writing teams where that doesn't work, that instantly you know, okay, we're not going to be able to write together. This isn't going to work. But for Will and myself, we complemented each other amazingly well. And I think we got a better short because of it. One of the creative processes we had was that Will had come up with an idea and I had come up with an idea. When we went with Screecher's Reach, there was a moment where Will said, you should write it. And I was like, oh no, I'm not writing it without you. And so we wrote together. And I genuinely do not think that short would have been anywhere near as good as it was without both of us. The idea of exploring collaborations as a writer is definitely something that I think everyone should be open to. It may not always work. I think personality with the person you're writing with is going to be a huge factor. When it clicks, it can really elevate your writing. Yeah, it's a really fun process.
I love when it's with a director because at some point it's their movie and it really helps settling when there's a disagreement on something. For me, it was like, that's okay, we are on different pages here. I want to understand your vision because you're the director. And most of the time I end up understanding why that idea was actually better and super cool compared to writing alone.
That's really important to get as well, as knowing that the people on your team, and especially the director, they're your allies, they're your champions, they are the people who are going to make this great. Embracing them as collaborators is really important. Leaning on a director and kind of hearing from them how they see it, and then that can really help inspire you. Or if you're going in a direction that they don't like, it's okay, why? What's not fitting here? And trying to understand that, I think, is really important. Sometimes it's important to be strong about your story, but it's not a good thing to try and be stubborn and force your views on a director. Being a good listener is such a part of being a good writer.
The lesson here is clear. Whether you're working solo or with a team, sharing your work and being open to feedback is crucial. It's the best way to grow. Teamwork has its perks, and some teams click so well together that their ideas become downright legendary. Click here to learn how directors John Musker and Ron Clements teamed up to create some of Disney's most iconic movies. I'm Pietro, and this is WFA Animation. See you in the video.